Hello, everyone. We're here today with Southern Silver. We have Rob Macdonald, who's head of exploration. Rob, thanks for being here. And maybe you can start by giving us just a quick overview of Southern Silver, and we can get into some more detail afterwards.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Peter, for the invite and being able to present to your audience here. Southern Silver is an exploration company based out of Vancouver. We're exploring, and our primary asset is our Cerro Las Minitas silver-lead-zinc skarn system in Durango, Mexico. We continue to advance that through exploration, resource development, and now moving it into a preliminary economic assessment, which is due in the coming weeks. We have two other projects on the exploration side in southern New Mexico, and we continue to advance those through the exploration stage as well.
Thank you. The first thing I'd like to maybe touch on is if you could tell us a little bit of the history of Cerro Las Minitas. I realize it probably goes quite a ways back. In terms of maybe if you could start with that and something a little bit more recent before you acquired it.
Cerro Las Minitas is the Hill of Little Mines. And so it was a project that had a number of different artisanal operators on the hill. Some say it goes back to colonial times. I don't know about that, but I certainly know in the more recent history, it goes back to, I'd say, at least the 50s and 60s, where there were, again, small-scale miners operating on the project. There were a couple of more developed shafts and workings on the property that extend down upwards of 200 meters. These have all been developed on a sort of a 30 to 50 ton per day style of operation, and so that we originally got into the project back in 2011. I guess was late 2010, 2011. We were approached by our project manager at that time that he had an opportunity for us. At this point, a previous operator or one of the vendors had assembled the entire land package. It was previously held by a number of different operators and a fractured land package that nobody had brought together before. So he brought it together, and then we did a deal, an option to own 100%, no royalties, for $4 million US, and that went through about 5 years, over a 4 or 5 year period. So that's how we came to own the project, but at this point it's owned 100% by us with no royalties, which is always a benefit as you're moving a project forward through the development stage.
Absolutely. So you actually mentioned earlier when we did the presentation about how there are producers in the area, several producers, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about who they are and the kinds of things that they're mining.
Yes. Well, this is an area that is quite mature from both an exploration and a production scenario. On our eastern boundary, Hecla Mining has their San Sebastian project. It's currently on care and maintenance, but really for the last 3 or 4 years, it was their most profitable mine in the Hecla stable. On our northern boundary, we have Fresnillo that are exploring on their El Titanic claim, and just about 6 kilometers away, Avino Mining is mining gold and silver from veins at the Avino mine. And then they recently purchased the La Preciosa project from Corp Mining, and that project is located just about 25 kilometers to the west of our property. And a little bit further afield, Argonaut Gold has 2 projects, San Agustin and El Castillo. And they're probably maybe more about 50, 60 kilometers to the northwest. So this is an area, it's on the edge of the Altiplano, so it's not in the mountains, it's on a very flat, very accessible area with good infrastructure. And again, it has quite a strong mining history certainly over the last several decades.
So it sounds like you're in a good neighborhood.
Yes, and with good neighbors, and
Exactly.
exactly, and it makes you feel better about operating in an area that you can put something into production if it develops and matures to the point that technically it
Right.
should.
Speaking of, advancing that project being your flagship, what is your outlook in terms of how it might ultimately make it to production? In terms of, is that something you would look to do internally, or to JV, or to sell? What would be the outlook in that sense right now?
Yeah. Well, if you look at the management and the board with Southern Silver, you'll see a number of people that have been involved with major projects and sometimes world-class deposits. And these with particular experience, in Mexico and worldwide. So there is experience within the group that will allow to continue developing a project, de-risking it, and bringing it up to a production decision within the companies that they are operating with or operating in. However, I mean, we are more explorers than we are developers. We brought this project from really just a number of small mines scattered around the Cerro, coalescing into one larger project, and that's sort of what we do. My guess is that we would probably look to either sell or joint venture the project at the appropriate time, to the benefit of the shareholder, so that we can start mining on it. But it is probably not what we will do. What we will do in the meantime is continue building the resources and de-risking it step by step, so it makes it more advantageous for a senior partner to come in and develop the project.
Super. So now you do have two other projects in New Mexico. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about Oro. That's a copper porphyry.
Yes.
And so if you could tell us a little bit about that project and where it stands right now and the outlook there.
Well, with Oro, this is again a project that we've had. We actually have had the Oro project longer than we've had CLM. This goes back to, I think, around 2007, 2008 was when we first acquired the Oro project, and it's an assemblage of patented land and state land and federal land that we've brought together over time. It's a large, it's earlier stage than Cerro Las Minitas, and it's a large copper porphyry system. And so we've explored it previously, looking at some of the gold targets that exist on the property, as well as there were some replacement deposits, silver-lead-zinc replacement deposits that had been previously mined back in the early 1900s. We had drilled those as well, and with the uptick in the copper price, we felt that this was an excellent opportunity to give our shareholders some exposure to copper mineralization. And so that's exactly what we're doing. We have a 6-hole, 4,000 meter program planned. We're in probably halfway to 2/3 of the way through the second hole in the program. And so we anticipate having continued news flow over the coming weeks and months on this program as well.
Okay, so that'll be something to look forward to.
Yes.
And so maybe we can round out with that third project also in New Mexico, not too far, if I'm not mistaken, from Hermanas.
No, it's about 50 kilometers.
From Oro, sorry. This one
Oro,
is Hermanas.
Yes. Yes, it's about 50 kilometers to the east of Oro. It too has some fantastic access. It's just south of the town of Deming, and the highway to Deming runs right through the property. So there's no issues in terms of getting on the property and the access. This project came to us through a couple of old-time project generators Perry Durning and Bud Hildemeyer. And they are considered some of the best, or better, if not the best, project generators in Mexico over the last couple of decades. They had been responsible for the identification of the San Sebastian project, the Los Gatos project, Pitarrilla, Camino Rojo. And so when they brought us this vein system, and it's a silver, gold, epithermal vein system. So when they brought us this project, we were very eager to get on the property and do our own work on the project. So we just signed an option to acquire that property in the fall, this past fall. So we've just dipping our toes into it. We've been on the property to map it, done some sampling, and so we're just starting to get those results back. We'll compile those, identify a drill program for follow-up, and we should be permitting that through 2022, and we'll have that ready to go in 2023.
So several irons in the fire.
Exactly.
And certainly a lot to look forward to in terms of catalysts. And thanks for that great overview of Southern Silver. I think that viewers have a good idea of what's happening and what to look forward to.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Peter, and
Thanks
thank
very
you
much,
all
Rob.
out there.
Thank you.